The Suncoast Dome in St. Petersburg, Florida is host to the Coors Light Challenge, round 9 of the Camel Supercross Series. Here in the Sunshine State, thousands of fans have gathered to see a Frenchman, JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE, with 4 wins to his credit, can maintain the pace that has earned him the series points lead. His closest challenger, Honda teammate and defending Supercross champion, just 7 points off the pace, Jeff Stanton from Sherwood, Michigan. Hello, everyone. I'm Larry Myers. Welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida, and Supercross 91, the ultimate challenge. JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE and Jeff Stanton have dominated this series. No two ways about that. If you're a member of the Honda camp, I would have to think that, well, that's kind of a blessing, and it would make you very happy. However, there is some concern in the Honda camp. As the season starts to wind down, will BAYLE and will Stanton start to challenge each other? The danger there is they will do that, and they could end up taking one or the other one out of competition, possibly both of them. We'll have to watch that as the series develops. Meanwhile, here in St. Petersburg, to help me call the action, she'll be doing it all from trackside, is Wendy Walsh. Wendy?
Thanks, Larry, but you know, I think you're overlooking something, namely about a half-dozen riders who told me earlier that they've got plans for the checkers tonight. Team Kawasaki is hot, and Damon Bradshaw says he's overdue for his next win. Let's get to the action, Larry.
Supercross action coming your way. We'll be right back. Back to Supercross 91, the ultimate challenge. I'm Larry Myers. We're in Florida's Suncoast Dome in St. Petersburg, Florida. The 125cc main event is just about to get underway. The 125 riders are taking a final look at the track. They call it their warm-up lap. It's just a chance to see if anything has changed since they saw it in practice. Here are the standings going into this main event. Brian Swink on top, followed by Talon Bolden, Doug Henry, Jeremy Buell, Eric McClear. Now let's take a look at the track that they'll be riding on as this 125 main event is just about to get underway. The straightaway, a long starting straightaway, followed by some jumps, a sharp left-hander, some more jumps, a lot of whoop-de-doos, and a rather unique feature about the track is a big sand pit right about in the middle. A lot of aerial acrobatics we expect to see tonight, as there are several double and triple jumps that will launch the riders a full 70 feet into the air. All in all, it is a very rough, a very demanding, and a very technical type of racetrack. It should provide all night long with a combination of whoops, jumps, and the sand pit. Tremendous race action for not only the 125, but of course on into the 250cc main that will follow a little bit later this evening. The 125cc main event set to get underway in Florida's Suncoast Dome. Now, we've referred to this 125 class on a time or two as being the Farm League, the junior system of Supercross. It's what develops the stars in the Camel Pro 250 class. But the only thing junior is their age. Their ability is top-notch, top drawer, and so is the racing. You'll get a taste of that as this 125 main, the gate is dropped and is underway. They're headed down a long straightaway to corner number 1, and rider number 36, Grayson Goodman, the Texan. He won his heat race, but Goodman already shoved to the back of the pack. He drops back about 4 positions, and Mike Brown is the leader, number 483 out of Gray, Tennessee. Brown and the Honda going at it, and there's the rider that almost lost it. That was 967. That was Montero. As Montero comes down off the top of that big, long triple jump, he had the front end way up in the air and almost paid the price. A tough way to go in the early going of this one. That's going to unnerve him, and indeed, he's already been passed from that number 2 position. He's dropped back to the number 3 spot. Mike Brown, a rider of considerable talent, out front all alone in this one. He's going to have company before it's over. You can put that in the bank. Eric McClear, number 46, I believe, has moved into that number 2 spot now. He's being chased by number 25, Jeremy Buell. Buell from the Peak Antifreeze Team Honda effort. Whoa! Rider number 38. 37, correct that. Grayson, or Ryan Hughes, rather, getting into the fray on this one. Now, there's Goodman, rider number 36. We have got all of these youngsters, and here comes Buell charging, number 25. In the early going of this 125 main, I think you need a calculator, you need a computer, you need everything you've got in order to keep them sorted out. They are swapping positions like you wouldn't believe. It's Mike Brown, though, out in front, and Talon Bolden, number 19, is on the move. Bolden is currently setting in the number 2 position in the standings. Now, our point series leader, after 4 125 main events, and he's won 3 of them, is Brian Swink. Swink's still working his way through the pack. Now, Swink has 93 points. Bolden, running in the number 2 position, has 70. So in the pack in order to do some damage in this series points league. Brown out front, running in the number 2 position. Grayson Goodman, rider number 36. Talon Boland third. And running in the number 4 spot was Jeremy Buell, rider number 25. Now, Jeremy Buell and, well, there are several others out here in this 125 class. They all have the potential to become champions in Supercross. That's the subject of this week's Man and Machine. Here's Wendy.
What does it take to become a Supercross winner? What specific elements fall into play the moment a champion is made? Is it mental preparation, physical practice, or just plain luck? Today we talk to some of the people whose job it is to know.
For sure, the rider has to be mentally prepared. He has to have confidence in his motorcycle that he's riding that evening. He has to feel comfortable on the track.
Ride really hard and consistent.
It takes a lot of luck, and it takes the opportunity. So when the opportunity presents itself, you need to have the luck to go with it in the preparation.
You know, we have riders that follow their biorhythms and all kinds of crazy things like that, but obviously their preparation over the winter and their mental and physical attitude prior to each individual race, and then I think on top of that, a big element of luck.
It's all in the preparation and how much work you put in throughout the week, and if you're ready.
Well, not one of the riders or mechanics or team managers that we interviewed said anything about picking up Wendy Walsh, but if that's part of the deal, I'm certain there'll be a lot of candidates. We'll be back with more exciting Supercross action right after this. Brown now, the lead going away. There's Brown out front. There's Goodman and challenging. Goodman has closed the gap on Mike Brown. Pulling alongside. Brown's got the good line. Goodman tried it on the outside. There was nowhere to go. He goes wide in that corner. Now he's trying to squeak by. He takes the alternative line in that tight corner. They're side by side. Headed up over the top of that long triple. Look at this. And Grayson Goodman has slammed his way to the front of this 125 main event. There goes Jeremy Buell trying to hit Brown. He almost nailed Brown. It looked like he had a beat on him and was going to hit him. But Brown managed to squeak through by the paint on his tires. And Boland, running back in the number 4 position, has got to be wondering. He's got to be saying, what is going on? Boland was third, but Buell has passed Boland. Now he's in the number 3 spot. Buell working on the rear wheel of Mike Brown with Boland right behind. Here comes Buell up to challenge. Brown took a quick look over his shoulder. All he saw was that blue and white Honda. Buell goes to the inside, makes the pass. Now Jeremy Buell from New London, Ohio, has taken over the number 2 position. Brown dropping all the way back to third. You've got to wonder if there is some kind of problem with Brown's motorcycle or with himself. He took the lead and was actually pulling away from the rest of the field, but gradually they caught up with him. First Goodman passed, then Buell passed, and now Brown is dropping further back off the pace. Grayson Goodman out of Plano, Texas, your leader. Right behind him, Jeremy Buell, number 25. And Buell has his eyes on the number 1 spot. Now still to be heard from. He's charging up through the pack as number 42. That, of course, is our series leader, Brian Swink out of Pension, Michigan. Right now, though, the eyes of the crowd and the action are up front as Jeremy Buell is going to school on Grayson Goodman's lines. Goodman is picking out the best places on the racetrack. Is where he thinks he can go the fastest, and also where he can keep Buell behind him. But the danger here is Buell has gone to school and has learned all of the good places to pass. If Buell has been watching, he knows exactly where Goodman will go wide, and then Buell will try to go low and possibly come up underneath him and put the block pass on. Now, it could happen in that corner, but Buell is going to have to drive to the inside. It's an excellent opportunity for that block pass move to happen. Buell would have to get to the inside and carry Goodman right up to the wall. Now, here's the battle now for the number 3 position as Brian Swink and Talon Boland have caught and passed Mike Brown. Brown continues to fade. These 2 riders are fighting for third. So Swink has moved from 16th place all the way up to 4th. And look at that. He triples by. He just cranked it on, triple by Talon Boland, and looked down at him while he was in the air. I don't think Boland liked that. Boland came back and tried to ram him into the wall, try to block pass, but it didn't work. Swink now, number 42, has clearly moved all alone into the number 3 position. Grayson Goodman continues to hold down that number 1 spot. Plano, Texas has got to be jumping tonight. Goodman and Buell, they put on a battle to the last several laps in this one. Excellent motocross on the part of both riders. And now Buell drawing alongside to the inside. And Buell puts a block pass on. Here comes Goodman right back, but Buell comes out of that one with the number 1 position. Jeremy Buell out of London, Ohio, has taken over the number 1 spot. An excellent move. I don't think that Grayson Goodman even knew that Buell was back there. He knew he was there, obviously. I shouldn't say didn't know he was back there. What I mean to say is he didn't know that he was that close, and he had not tried any kind of a pass maneuver in that particular part of the track. So it was a big stride. Let's go back and take another look, and you'll see what I mean. Now, Buell is sneaking up on the inside. He's not been in that position all night. Grayson Goodman looked to his left, but by then it was too late. There was nowhere to go, and Buell just took him all the way to the wall. Goodman had to hit the brakes just slightly. That's all the advantage that Jeremy Buell needed. Here it is from another angle. Taking to the inside of the track, and there you saw Goodman look over it. What he was saying was, what in the heck are you doing there? That was not the fast line of the track, but that's what he was doing there. He was taking Goodman to the wall, and Goodman had no choice. An outstanding ride, being turned in by several of the competitors on the field, particularly this young man, Jeremy Buell. This will be his first victory in this 125 class. This time around, he's going to collect that white flag, signifying 1 lap remaining. The starter standing atop that finish line jump is set to give it to him, and Buell is going through that vicious set of whoop-de-doos. He'll have to do that one more time. There's the white flag. Buell has got to be saying, where was it? Where has it been these last few laps? I want this race over. His first Supercross victory. He's going to claim it here in the inaugural Supercross event at Florida's Suncoast Dome. What better way to do it? On that peak antifreeze team, there are several just outstanding riders. Brian Swink has been the dominating force so far. He, of course, is one of them. But now it would appear that Jeremy Buell is emerging to do his part for the Team Honda peak antifreeze Pro Circuit effort. Number 25, circulating the track for the final time today. The only thing he needs to be concerned about at this point is lap riders. He needs to keep them out of his way. He wants to be absolutely certain that he does not get near them, that he does not get anywhere close to them. He doesn't want to rub elbows with them. He wants to keep the bike upright. And Buell is now taking it easy. He looked behind him. He saw Goodman. He knows he has this one in the bag. Got to keep it upright. And look at, he's really relaxing through that set of hoops. Here he comes, Jeremy Buell, to take the checkered flag. A happy Jeremy Buell. Look at that fist up in the air. So his first victory. Talk about funk. You bet he is. His first victory of the 1991 125 Supercross season. Let's go down to Wendy Walsh and see what Jeremy Buell had to say about that winning effort. Wendy?
Thanks, Larry. Jeremy, this is your first Supercross victory of the season, and it was a hard-fought battle against Grayson Goodman. What happened to turn it around for you?
I don't know. I just caught a second win there at the end and passed him. He was riding really well. Had some bad luck tonight, earlier, and I'm just great. I'm just so glad that I ever pulled it together tonight. I don't know what to say. I love these Tampa fans, and this is great.
I think your Tampa fans love you, too. Back to you, Larry.
So Jeremy Buell wins his first ever Supercross, followed by Grayson Goodman, Brian Swink, Ryan Hughes, and Mike Brown. And what an exciting event it was here in Tampa, St. Pete. Here are the standings. Brian Swink on top, followed by Buell, Talon, Boland, Doug Henry, and Grayson Goodman. We'll be back with more Supercross right after this. The Coors Light Challenge, round 9 of the Camel Supercross Series. I'm Larry Myers. We're in St. Petersburg, Florida, at the Florida Suncoast Dome. The 250 main about set to go. Here's Wendy Walsh to tell us how the riders got into the main.
Larry, here's how the field of 20 riders make it into the main event. We start with a pair of heat races. From the heats, the top 4 finishers transfer directly to the main. Then comes a pair of semifinals. The top 5 from each of the semis go into the main. Now, for those riders who are still not in the main event, we have a last chance qualifier. From that, only 2 riders go into the main event.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy Walsh. We'll only add to that as we go back and take a look at some of the heat race competition held earlier today. That heat races are 8 laps long. Semifinals and the last chance qualifier are 6-lap events. And, of course, the main event is 20 laps long. In heat race number 1, it was Jeff Stanton, Jeff Ward, Damon Bradshaw, and a host of other very, very good riders. It looked good for Ward for a second coming out of the middle of the pack, but it was Jeff Stanton, rider number 1, the defending Supercross champ, that stole the whole shot. He was followed by Ron Tishner, the local favorite from Palm Harbor, Florida. Then came Ward, and behind Jeff Ward, rider number 11, Damon Bradshaw. Now, don't forget, the top 4 riders will move into the main event, but getting 4th is not what it's all about in heat race competition. You want to finish just as high as you possibly can. The better your finish, the better pick on the starting gate, and there's also a shot as Jeff Ward blasts by Ron Tishner to take over the number 2 position. A shot at picking up some extra Coors dollars. We'll get into that in just a second. Now, let's take a look at some of the heat race action. Again, this is from heat race number 1. It's Stanton out front, Jeff Ward, rider number 3 in second, and here's Damon Bradshaw, number 11, putting the moves on Ron Tishner, rider number 12, to take over the number 3 position. Through the sand pit built into the middle of the St. Petersburg Suncoast Dome, Florida Suncoast Dome racetrack. One of the more treacherous obstacles. The rider hits that sand, never knows for sure which way the motorcycle is going to go. If it will rebound and point him in a bad direction, there's not much you can do about it. You kind of turn the throttle on, grit your teeth, and try to aim it where you want it to go and hope that it ends up there. Check Jeff Stanton's motorcycle on the left side. You can see something trailing off his foot peg. What he has done is clip one of the hay bales that are covered with the plastic covering, and he's torn part of that covering away, and he's carrying it with him. That should not, there's a good shot of it, that will not be a problem either for Jeff Stanton's safety or will it interfere with the motorcycle. Now, that happens quite frequently. That plastic just gets ground up and spit out and never presents a problem. Looks kind of scary, though. Jeff Ward, meanwhile, holding down the number 2 position, doing everything he can to close on Stanton, but no luck. Stanton is looking for not only the best pick on the gate, but he would like to post the fastest time of the night. If he does that, then he'll be eligible. The rider that wins the fastest heat race of the night and wins the main event, if indeed he can do that, picks up an extra $1,000 from Coors, and that money rolls over. If you don't get it one week, it's eligible the next week. And in addition, at the end of the year, the rider that has recorded the most fast heat races, of the season, will be eligible for a $25,000 bonus. That's the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown, and by the end of the year, that one is going to be tight and intense. Jeff Stanton continues to hold down the number 1 position as he has from the opening lap, the opening corner, as a matter of fact, still being pursued by Jeff Ward, rider number 3. Now, the first 3 positions at this point on the last lap look to be pretty secure. You wouldn't think that there would be a lot of action remaining, that maybe these guys are going to settle for what they can get at the checkered flag. But watch what is coming up. No problem with Stanton. He takes the good line, but here comes the action in the battle for second. Watch Ward and Bradshaw. Bradshaw tries to get to the inside of Jeff Ward. I think he thought maybe that Ward was going to back out of it, and Ward said, no way. He kept it cranked right on. Watch it again. Ward has the line. Bradshaw tries to come inside. There just wasn't quite enough room. Jeff Ward had to hit the brakes. He did that, rode over Bradshaw's motorcycle. Now watch him. Don't mess with me, son. That's what you get. So Bradshaw is going to lose that number 4 position. He'll have to go into the semi. Meanwhile, the clock is running for Jeff Stanton. 7:34 and 11/100. 7 minutes, 34 seconds, and 11/100. That was Stanton's time. That will be the time to beat in the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown. Here are the results of heat race number 1. Now let's take a look at heat race action from the second heat race. If anyone can beat Stanton in this one, well, I would have to say we'll look to JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE or Jeff Matasevich. They're both in this heat race, and both of them are extremely fast. And indeed, it's the lime green Kawasaki of Jeff Matasevich out front, followed closely by JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE in the number 2 position. Matasevich, rider number 7, BAYLE, rider number 8. Now, BAYLE is a teammate to Jeff Stanton, our defending Supercross champ, and the rider that won heat race number 1 and has set the time to shoot for in the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown. If either one of of these two riders can beat Stanton's time, then go on to win the main. Don't forget there's an extra bonus from Coors, but more importantly, they're aiming at the season end. Whoever has the most, as we said earlier, fast qualifiers throughout the season will win $25,000 bonus from Coors. A lot of money at stake, and it's enough to get the juices flowing as Jeff Matasevich holds off Damon Bradshaw one more time. The two of them side by side through the whoop-de-doos, and Matasevich, the victim of a little bump and run. Let's look at this again. Here comes BAYLE to the inside. He's going to just crowd Matasevich up by the bales. Matasevich has no choice. He has to hit the brakes, get off the gas, and allows JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE to take over that #1 spot. Now here's a race behind the front runners between a pair of Yamaha riders. Number 15 is Doug Dubach. Rider number 18 is Jeff Emig. Emig normally rides when the race series is on the West Coast in the 125 class, but this week he's riding in the 250s. Watch what happens to Dubach. Watch this now in this set of whoops. All by himself. It's not Doug Dubach's day. That was a nasty crash. Dubach going over the handlebars. The motorcycle coming along behind him and spanking him. Watch this one more time. Dubach just loses control. He was out of sync there, trying to hold on, trying to save it. Had a prayer right there, but then the motorcycle goes straight up in the air. Dubach actually passed the motorcycle, and you can see where it came down. It looked like it squashed his head. One more look at it, and you'll see actually Dubach's head was in between the fender and the wheel. Could have been a lot worse than it actually turned out to be. Watch this. Oh, does that look bad? But see where it comes down. Dubach is actually in between the wheel and the fender. They don't come much nastier than that one. Doug Dubach is back up, and he's interested in getting back into this one. I think probably he would like to just ride the mistake or the error off. He has no hopes of being in contention, no hopes of qualifying. He'll have to come back and do that through the semifinal. Meanwhile, JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE is on his way to beating the time that was set by Jeff Stanton in heat race #1. Now, that time, the time they're shooting for is 7:34 and 11/100ths. That's what BAYLE has to beat. Let's see as he comes up toward the checkered flag if he is able to do that. 7:34 and 11 seconds. That's the time to beat. And JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE on the last lap, he's looking around at the crowd, putting on kind of a semi-show. But you can bet that BAYLE is not going to risk losing this heat race by showing off, nor is he going to waste time doing aerial acrobatics that might please the crowd. It looks like BAYLE's time, he had some competition in the early going, made him go faster. That might have helped. Is going to be good enough. 7:28.25. It is. Let's go to Wendy.
Thanks, Larry. JEAN-MICHEL, you won this event here last year, and we witnessed some European precision when you overtook Matasevich.
Yeah, I feel very good. I have a very good start, and Matasevich was riding good, but I was a lot more fast than him. So I hope we have a good race with Jeff in the main event.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Larry.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy. And our congratulations to JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE, an outstanding ride. He was the winner. Here are the riders that qualified behind him: Jeff Matasevich, Guy Cooper, and Mike Kidrowski with the final qualifying position. More importantly to JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE, he'll get first pick on the gate tonight with that fast qualifier. Plus, he is the winner of the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown. Now, if he can accumulate more of those awards over the period of a season than any other rider, then he will walk out with $25,000 worth of Coors Light money. Right now, Jeff Matasevich has 3, Jeff Stanton has 3, and JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE, with his win tonight, his fast time tonight, has 2. 9 events to go in the series. This one will go down to the wire, this battle for the 25 grand, and we'll be back with a main event at Welcome back to Supercross 91, the ultimate challenge. We're in Florida, the Suncoast Dome. Joining me in the booth, and unfortunately joining me, I guess I should add, because normally you would find him down there on the starting line as this 250cc main event is about to get underway. Mike ROCCO, Team Suzuki. Mike, the bikes are in the parade lap. This main is about to get underway, and it's going to get underway without you. What happened?
Well, yesterday in practice, I had misfortune when I was approaching the finish line jump. The back brake came loose on my motorcycle, and it's a section where you charge up really hard to the finish line and lock up your brakes and clear it so you don't jump too far. And I charged up there, and when I got there, I had no brakes, and I just launched it and came down and hurt my ankle.
The ankle, that's only part of Mike's problems. Earlier in the year, you missed races, Mike, because of a wrist injury. It's not been a good year for you, but maybe this this is the end of it. Maybe next week we'll see you in Pontiac, and hopefully everything is going to be all cleared up and you'll be able to give it 100%.
Yeah, I can't see things getting any worse, so maybe I can turn things around here and work on Pontiac next week.
Well, Mike has agreed to sit with us throughout this 250cc main event. The parade lap just about over. Let's go down to the starting line and see what's in store. Well, most of the riders have returned to the starting gate area. They'll be raising that gate momentarily and then dropping again to get this event underway. We have enough time, though, to look at the standings, and we'll go back to Phoenix, Arizona, the site of last week's race, and catch you up on the action there. Here are the standings. It's BAYLE on top. He's had 4 wins, Stanton 3, Damon Bradshaw 1. Then the top 5 are rounded out with Kedrowski and Matasevich. The stars of the Camel Supercross Series were greeted at round 8 in Phoenix, Arizona with unseasonably cold and wet weather. The less than ideal conditions, though, did not in the least hamper the hard-charging style of defending Supercross champ Jeff Stanton. The Team Honda ace pulled the whole shot and led the first 18 laps of the 20-lap main event. Behind Stanton, Kawasaki's Jeff Ward, who has won this Supercross title 2 times in his career. He gave chase in the early going, but gradually fell off the pace. Meanwhile, series points leader JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE was turning in the outstanding ride of the day. The Frenchman did not get a good start. To make matters worse, he fell in the opening laps. From that point, though, the race belonged to BAYLE. On the run at Phoenix track, BAYLE charged through the pack and moved to Stanton's rear wheel. Stanton tried to pick up the pace, but BAYLE was fired up. In his earlier run through the pack, BAYLE had found every passing line on the track and used them all on Stanton. With this pass, his efforts paid off and BAYLE took the lead. The Frenchman later stated it was his best effort of the season. Stanton finished second, Jeff Ward third, Mike Fisher fourth, with Mike Kedrowski fifth. Well, that's the way it went at Tempe, Arizona in Sun Devil Stadium. Tonight we're in the Suncoast Dome, St. Petersburg, Florida, for round 9. Looking for a favorite? How about Jean-Michel BAYLE, the Frenchman? He's won 4 times already this season. Or Jeff Matasevich, one of the young Chargers, one of the brash young Lions, looking for his first win, but capable of getting it anywhere. Jeff Stanton has won 3 times this year. For the past 2 seasons, he has won the Camel Supercross Championship. Jeff Ward, the elder statesman, 29 years of age. Don't count Ward out of any race that you might get into. And Damon Bradshaw, he's certainly a crowd pleaser wherever he goes. One of them should take it all. And in fact, Mike, they are all on the line. This 250 main is just about set to get underway. You've been in this situation many times as the referee is scanning the start line, riders putting on their goggles. What is going through their minds?
I would have to say they're concentrating real hard to be the first one into that first corner and get out ahead of the rest of the pack.
Pole shots, of course, extremely important in Supercross. You can't overemphasize that. I should say can't emphasize it enough. The guy that's out front has a chance to make the proverbial hay while the sun shines. Behind him, possibly his competitors being tied up in traffic. They're concerned with who's passing who. They've got to get out of this guy's way, protecting their line over here, trying to make a pass. But the guy out front has nothing but clear track ahead. Here we go. This one about to get set in and is set in. It's underway. Gate drop. And from the outside comes Jeff Stanton. No, Damon Bradshaw. Rider number 11 out of Charlotte, North Carolina, followed by Stanton. In the number 2 position, Jeff Ward. Jeff Matasevich right beside him. But Bradshaw stole the whole shot in this one. Headed down toward lap number 1 to put this one in the book, and Bradshaw absolutely stole it. I don't know where he came from, Mike. I really thought that whole shot took a closer look at Jean-Michel BAYLE. Here's Wendy Walsh.
Jean-Michel BAYLE, two-time world champion from Manosque, France. 4 Supercross victories this season in just 8 rounds. Take a good look, folks. Most riders only get to see the Frenchman from behind.
When I come 2 years ago, you know, I was French, so everybody wanted to beat me because I was world champion, and everybody wanted to prove they can beat a world champion.
Jean-Michel being from France, it took us a little while to establish a communication. It's just that extra little challenge that makes it interesting.
I'm relaxed, you know. When I start the race, I just want to ride because, you know, I like to ride and not for win. And if I ride fast, it's because I ride, you know, just for the fun and not for try to win the race.
Jean-Michel has joie de vivre, lust for life. He maintains a sense of humor and doesn't let the pressure of competition affect his carefree manner, even though he's challenging current #1 plate holder teammate Jeff Stanton for the championship.
The competition on the track is of course very intense, but off the track, you know, I talk to him and you know, we're friends.
Side by side, Jeff Stanton, the defending champion, Jean-Michel BAYLE. Now traffic.
I'll tell you what, Larry, it looked like Michel was just kind of being a little bit too nice out there.
What?
BAYLE, if he wins the championship, plans to defend his position for 1 year and then move along.
I don't want, you know, to ride for 10 years for the same sport. I prefer to change and try to do something different. It's my dream. I come in US for try to be champion, so I just want to be champion one time, so I hope it's going to be the Supercross.
David Bradshaw, your leader. Bradshaw not looking behind him. That's a good sign. When a rider out front starts looking behind him, when he becomes worried about the guy, that's when the mistakes are being made. And at this point, Bradshaw is really paying no attention to BAYLE. He's riding his own race, his own line. Does that surprise you, Mike?
Not really. That's the best thing out there he can do. He can ride his own race and not worry about BAYLE. He keeps his mind on what he's doing.
But gosh, isn't it tempting to look over your shoulder? Don't you want to know where that guy is?
Usually you can hear the sound of his bike where he's going to be going to the next corner, but if you take the right line, there's really not much you can do.
Now, in that particular corner, BAYLE went to the inside. Bradshaw was way up high. I think he actually expected BAYLE to be there. He just dialed it out coming out of that corner, never even looked at him. But BAYLE has now gone to within 1 cycle length of Damon Bradshaw for the #1 spot. We have got a battle for the lead in this one. Both of them hugging that inside line as they round that tight hairpin turn to the right. Riders are both calm, they're cool, they're riding very loose. Neither rider is stretching it. I think that both Bradshaw and BAYLE at this point have a little bit left. If BAYLE makes the pass, I will not be surprised to see Bradshaw come right back and try to repass within a corner or two. That's Bradshaw's style. He does not like to let the guy settle down, so to speak, after he has passed him. He would rather come right back and try to nail him right off the bat, and maybe with a little contact-type move, if you will. And Bradshaw certainly has been on the receiving end and the giving end of that type of Supercross action. And Mike, sometimes in Supercross, contact is a necessity to make a pass.
Yeah, sometimes both riders use the same line, and there's no other way to get around them unless you move them out of the way.
Well, we're going to get out of the way for just a few seconds, but we'll be right back with more exciting Supercross. Now BAYLE goes to the outside. Here comes that move again. He'll cut to the inside. Bradshaw's going wide. He cuts across, takes the line away from Jean-Michel BAYLE. Each move that he makes, each move that both riders make, very cool, cold, calculating. Here comes through the sandpit. Now, this is a new one. He's shown him a wheel someplace that he's not done before. He's not been up that close in that particular point. What is he trying to do, Mike?
I think maybe he's trying to find someplace to pass. Maybe not this lap, but maybe the next lap. Sometimes you got to look a lap and ahead and maybe just make one place on the track a lap to pass.
There, Bradshaw looked over his shoulder, and look at that. Now they're side by side. Bradshaw looked back to see where BAYLE was. And when he looked back, BAYLE made a move. He made the pass momentarily. Bradshaw got it back. Now BAYLE squirts to the inside. It's no Yamaha slowing down, but in any event, Stanton has put himself in position to pass one of his rivals in this Supercross series. Most certainly, he'd rather pass, I think, a Yamaha guy than another Honda guy. Stanton on the Honda, Bradshaw on the Yamaha. Charlotte, North Carolina, that's Damon's hometown, right at number 11. Damon knows that Stanton's back there. One of the things to think about here, Mike, and you maybe can shed some light on this, but when a rider starts to pick some lines and probe at the guy in front of him, he's kind of putting some pressure on. Does that do anything to the guy in front?
Well, it's a lot easier to be behind than in front when...
and Bradshaw, excuse me, almost come unglued. Now he's got a problem. Bradshaw pulling off the racetrack. Let's take a look, and maybe you can see, watching now, coming around this corner. Mike, see what you can see. Comes up over the top of that jump. Oh, look at that. Unbelievable. What happened?
It looks to me like his bike wouldn't shift, or maybe something with the transmission, and he couldn't grab another gear.
Wow, he comes out a spectacular save on the part of David Bradshaw to even hold on to that thing, but of course it's all to no avail. He was in third place in standings. Of course, that's going to go bye-bye in this one, and that could very well seal his fate in this Supercross series unless he gets some help from both JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE, our series leader, and on his way right now, cruising to win number 5 unless something drastic happens in this one. And Jeff Stanton, who is well back, running in the number 2 position. 3 laps remaining in this one. We've got a race going for that number 2 position, although Mike Kudrowski has a long way to go if he's going to claim it in the final 2 or 3 laps here at Florida's Suncoast Dome. Kudrowski had come from off the pace to pass several riders to move into that number 3 spot. And I'm not sure, but this might be the first visit to the winner's circle Kudrowski has made this year. Bale out front, Jeff Stanton in second. That's become a familiar fixture on the Supercross circuit the past several weeks. This will be, if he keeps it upright, for 2 more laps. Bale's 5th win of the season. Jeff Stanton has won 3 times. And the 9th victory, of course, going to David Bradshaw in Atlanta, Georgia. That makes up the 9 victories that will have been won, counting the one that is currently underway here in St. Pete. And it marks the final race of the first half of the Supercross season. I believe St. Pete will be headed up. There's the white flag, 1 lap remaining. We'll be headed up to Pontiac, Michigan for round 10. And we will be looking at 9 more races to go in the Supercross series. 1 lap remaining, and Kudrowski has again closed the gap slightly. Jeff Stanton in second takes the white flag, and behind him comes number 4, Mike Kudrowski. 1 lap to go. If you're Kudrowski, it's going to be a short lap. Probably if you're Stanton, you'd like to get it over with and go home, wouldn't you say, Mike? For him, it's going to be an eternity out there. What goes through a rider's mind when he's on that last lap?
Well, depending, if I was in Stan's position, I'd want to get the race over with and cross that checkered flag. If I was in Kudrowski, I'd do the best I can to get Stan.
Well, JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE gave a wave to the crowd off that triple. Now, that is a rarity. So, evidently, he's feeling just very, very good. He's coming upon Fred Andrews, rider number 17. Let's see if he tries to pass Andrews before he finishes the... And Andrews wisely lets him go by, because if he didn't, then he would have to take 1 more lap. JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE wins it. The battle for the number 2 position. No, and Kudrowski goes down. Mike Kudrowski goes down. It looked to me like maybe he had an idea and he was too far off the pace to do it. I think he was going to try a block pass there. I think he wanted to run it in really deep and maybe take Stanton all the way out to the wall. But he was just a little too far back to do it. And coming around that corner, and let's take a look at that spill, Mike. We're going to watch it again and see what happens. But I think he just kind of drove it in a little bit on the hard side. Now watch him as he come around and see if you agree with me. Here he comes. Yeah, he was just going a little bit too hard, and he was too far back to get the job done. Well, in any event, he provided some excitement at the finish of this one. Now, to find out just how they did finish, let's go to Wendy Walsh.
In first place, Honda's JEAN-MICHEL BAYLE, followed by teammate Jeff Stanton, Kawasaki's Mike Kudrowski, and Jeff Ward. And in 5th place, Suzuki's veteran Guy Cooper. Stay tuned as Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge, continues.
Jean-Michel BAYLE has wrapped up the 250cc main event, and Jean-Michel is standing by with Wendy Walsh.
Thanks, Larry. Jean-Michel, you remain the points leader in the series, but not without a dogfight from Damon Bradshaw.
Yeah, it was a nice race. I think we make a good show tonight. I'm very happy because I won the faster heat and I won the main, so I take the Coors extra award, so I'm very happy tonight.
Well, thank you. So are we. Well, that's it for me from St. Pete's until next week in Pontiac, Michigan. Back to you, Larry.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy, and our congratulations go out to Jean-Michel BAYLE, who strengthened his hold on the #1 position in the standings. Now, BAYLE's still followed by Jeff Stanton. He's only 10 points back. Then comes Mike Kidrowski, Jeff Matasevich, and rounding out the top 5, Damon Bradshaw. We'll have our closing comments in just a second, but let's take a look at some of the closing ceremony and the champagne shaking. Good racing, Mike ROCCO, here in Florida's Suncoast Dome. I thank you for being up here in the booth with us, but I would imagine you'd rather have been on the track.
Yeah, I'd have liked to have been out there. I'd have liked to have been where BAYLE was just now. But I had a good seat, and I enjoyed the races.
Okay, well, we'll look for you next week in Pontiac, Michigan. That's where the tour is headed, and that's where we will see you on Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge. On behalf of Wendy Walsh and my colleague for the evening, Mike ROCCO, I'm Larry Myers. So long for Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge.